Do you ever sometimes pull your nose, if you pull your nostrils out a little bit, like you can get a bit of a clearer, like you get some of
100%
that.
I do.
You get that
Oh, yeah.
juice. Get that real
Dude, I bought
oxygen
like
juice.
I bought like nose, that nose tape shit that you can get.
Oh, to open your
Yeah,
nasal cavities while
sleeping.
you're sleeping.
That's right.
I haven't
And
tried it. Would you recommend?
see, I've gone through like 3 different types because it is great, but I'm not buying like the really expensive ones that you can get, but I'm considering it because it's just not comfortable and I get so distracted by how uncomfortable when the lights go out. It's like really highlights how
Yeah, you got no other
annoying
senses.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got the ones as well that go in and push out, and they were great. It's all great, but like after 20 minutes, I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I might invest.
that's sort of the flip side of the mouth tape thing, right? Like the whole put tape over your mouth, and that way you force yourself to breathe through the nose. But that doesn't account for beard people. Like, what are we meant to do? I'm not going to be taping
Well,
all this shit up.
they do make they do make ones for beards.
Do they?
Now I heard. Yeah, Pete Holmes, weirdly on his podcast, he's always plugging them. Like, I don't even think they're sponsored. He's just
The
like,
mouth tape or the nose opener?
the mouth tape. The mouth tape. I don't think I could get my head around that. You'd feel like you're being interrogated by the fucking.
But for some of us, that's actually
FBI.
quite erotic. So, it's nice to know there are options now out there that if I wanted to tape, I'm not going to be ripping my beard out.
Well, I mean, if it's an erotic situation, sign me up. But if I'm trying to sleep, I mean,
Yeah. I genuinely consciously try to breathe through my nose more these days. Like, it is something that, I think, I'm not proud to say this, but I think I gave up on myself in my 20s and didn't think that I was the kind of person who could be a nose breather just from, just volume wise. I just never felt like that was a long-term thing I could do. Like I can get a sniff in here or there, but a whole day of it without opening the mouth, like that's sorry. I just felt like that was off limits to me. But it is something that I
totally
think gets
feel that.
easier with more, with practice.
Gets easier with more.
And I'm trying to be a person who's a nose breather.
I respect that, and I feel that, my dog. It's kind of like meditation. It's one of those things. It's like I've decided.
Yeah.
I know that I'm not going to do it because I don't like trying it. I don't like forming new habits. Forming new habits in your 30s sucks. Like it's just like no, I've decided who I am, or I've become who I am.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I was struck by an extremely. You were giving Marin vibes then in your aesthetic, in your glasses.
I do look like
in
Marin,
your hair.
Fuck.
And I just,
Fuck, I
really,
do.
it was quite a strong flavor, and I felt proud of you, and I felt excited by it. So please
Dude,
take
even
that.
the facial hair with the longer and oh my god,
It was extremely Marin vibes, and that's a nice compliment.
I'm not going to be able to unsee that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, I mean, you've probably noticed that I've got a bit of something bit different about me. Marin aside.
Marin aside, it is the
'Cause I got
glasses.
that-
Yeah, continue.
I got that PTA glow, baby.
Oh,
Because I saw one battle after another last night.
3 minutes in, I knew it was coming, but I wasn't sure when.
Right at the start. Yeah, I haven't stopped thinking about it. He's such a terrific. I feel like
You're still on the high. I
like-
can tell. You're still on the high.
got
You've got the glow.
I've got butterflies. I've been listening to podcast after podcast
Yeah.
about like talking about it. I just felt I was literally. It's just under a 3-hour movie. I was literally beaming, smiling, just
Yeah.
like this.
Well, that's
like the
creepy.
whole time.
No, please don't do that.
It was creepy because I realized that I was doing it. I was like, "You look."
When all the ushers come in to
Crazy,
do the checks
right?
through the process of the film, they're just looking
they
up in
flagged
the
me.
cinema,
They flagged
and they're
me,
like,
yeah.
"God, there's some guy there who's either
Yeah.
tripping out of his mind or having too much
Yeah.
fun."
Yeah, he's keeping an eye on that guy in row H because he's probably got his pants down. And I thought about it
Yeah.
because it's just a beautiful movie, and oh my god, cinema.
I've got a little bit of trivia
Oh,
for you about this movie as well. Do you know who wrote the music for it?
dude, the score of this movie is unbelievable. Yeah, the Radioheads.
The Radioheads. Yeah, Johnny Greenwood.
Yeah.
What a collab. I mean, it seems like he's his go-to now. It's been years since he used anyone else. Like, how exciting. It actually
very
it
out there
popped
score
up in
too.
my Spotify this week. It was like the album's
Yeah,
dropped,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I was like, I'm not touching. I can't listen to that before I've seen the film. What are you crazy?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's fun. I've done that. But yes, are you gonna go see this movie in the cinema, Nick?
Not interested.
No,
No, of course I am. Of course I am.
Are you?
I'm
Okay,
traveling
okay.
this week, so I don't know when it'll be. Hopefully, it'll be still around by the time I get back.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see it in IMAX this week
Yeah,
again,
nice.
and no one wants to go because they give us.
'Cause it's 3
Everyone
hours,
liked it.
yeah.
I went, yeah, and they were like, "We liked it," and I was like, "Do you like it enough to go see it again tomorrow?" And they're like, "What?
Tomorrow.
No."
Tomorrow.
I started a group chat with the people I saw it with. I just started spamming them with podcasts and like behind the scenes stuff. And they're like, "Dude, I don't think we
Listen
liked
to this.
it,
They
but
shot
no
it in 70mm. Everyone's like, okay, Michael.
Dude, I gave them the VistaVision spiel. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
it's really, really fucking good.
Just tell me one thing. Do you my big concern, we've talked about this on the pod. My big concern with big name actors is I can never not think of them as their name. You know, I can't watch a Brad Pitt movie without being like, it's Brad Pitt. You know, I can't buy a character. Do you buy Leo as a person, as a character? Is he in the role enough? Is it well made enough that I don't have to think, that's Leonardo DiCaprio?
Great question. I've never been hugely a fan of Lee. Like, I liked him, but there's never really. Killers of the Flower Moon last year was, or the year before, was the first one I was like, okay, I think I'm starting to get Leo.
Yeah.
Now I think I'm sold on Leo. Can you hide? I don't know if that's necessarily. He doesn't disappear
Yeah.
necessarily,
Yeah.
but is Sean Penn in this? Another very recognizable face, Benicio. Look, I don't think that question really applies to this movie, honestly. It didn't for me.
Interesting.
And I would say, when Brad Pitt did Burn After Reading,
Yeah.
and he did
Fair.
kind of goofy Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Not saying anything about goofiness necessarily, but is that kind of vibe
Goofy does counteract star. That is a good. That's maths. That's algorithms. That's science. Goofy can undercut the star power, and so maybe maybe you're right. Maybe
And
that.
Sean Penn,
Yeah, go ahead.
you've never seen Sean Penn do something like this. Like, he's going for it in this. Yeah.
Nice. I remain convinced Sean Penn, if you ever met him in real life, would stink. He
Like B.O.
of BO. He looks like a man
And
with
cigarettes.
odor. He smokes like a fucking train. He looks like he hasn't showered in a week and a half. I am absolutely confident if you met him in a room, you would be able to taste him after he left.
It smelled like booze too.
Yeah.
It looks like he likes a drink at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's neither
I
here
mean,
nor
I
there.
agree.
Yeah.
He was in the Charlie Sheen doc. I don't know if you saw the Charlie Sheen doc.
It wasn't high on my list.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
Charlie, he's a bit of a character, that Charlie Sheen, if you ask me.
Yeah. Can't wait to see what he does next.
Got a few stories. You know what? Sean Penn's arms deserves an. He's got great arms, Sean Penn.
Sean Penn's. Do I have to Google this? Sean Penn's arms.
No, don't Google it. Just when you go
Oh,
see
it
it,
happens
just
in the
think of
movie.
me.
Okay. I thought this
What?
was a sort of an aside, but this is specifically in the movie we see his arms.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He's got great veiny arms.
Veiny.
You like a good bicep vein? You know when the bicep vein goes off to the side? That's when you know you got a real unit
A real
in your
piece of
hands.
work.
A real can of spaghetti.
All right, well, you put your pants back on. Well, I say, welcome to Deep Thought, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here today at the Pod HQ, in which we discuss important things that matter to us in the world, and to a lesser extent, things that matter to you. Sitting through the internet with me this week, my friend Michael. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for asking. And sitting to my right, curled up on the couch in a sweet little baby bundle, it's Goose.
Casey. Oh, Goose, the dog.
She's sleeping, but she's with us. She might.
I
chirp
love your
up later.
Marga little handle there.
Thank you. You
fun.
like this one? There's a bit of pressure on me every week to keep delivering taglines, but keep knocking it out of the park.
You do. You had a good one last week that I only saw when I imported your file.
It was Kirk's fan brackets soft drink.
Good,
Yeah.
dude.
Um,
Didn't realize you were going to say it out loud because it's pretty offensive.
yeah. Well, we were talking about the Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk, yeah. The late, great Charlie Kirk. Catch any of Erica's speech?
Erica's speech was not high on my viewing list. It was actually just below the Charlie Sheen documentary, so I will get to it. I saw GIFs of what seemed to be an extremely wrestling coded fireworks show of some fucking pyrotechnics, but no, I didn't watch that.
Yeah. No, it was a great show. It was a great show.
You tuned in? What were the highlights?
I watched the whole thing.
You watched the whole thing?
The fireworks were big. So the guy wheeling the cross around
I saw him.
with the wheels on it was just fantastic.
That's so funny. I want to evoke the spirit of suffering persecution, but I don't really want to have to do the lifting. So maybe we could just put some wheels at the bottom.
I know. You can't. It's just beautiful stuff.
Before I forget,
Obviously
just for
Stephen
the
Miller.
listeners at home, my tagline, which you alluded to but didn't say, was "Make Australia gay again," and I just wanted on the because otherwise I feel like there's this loose a hanging chad.
Well, I did say it was Marga.
It was Marga, and I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, how have you been? What's life like?
Good. I just had a lovely weekend. Saw some comedy. I saw your boy, Ray. Who's the New Zealand guy?
Ray O'Leary.
Is that his last name? Kind of the
nerdy guy with big bushy hair and glasses.
Yeah. Dude, he was fucking phenomenal.
He's
I just
really
thought it was
funny.
kind of just a basement kind of gig.
That's fun.
And I got so philosophical. It was Friday night, late show. Group of literally a group, 18th girl birthday,
Really? At a Ray
kind of
O'Leary
thing
gig. Okay.
Well, I think they just bought tickets,
Sure.
$15 tickets to whatever, and they sent front row, very young, they're not new to drinking as well.
Yeah.
And
Literally 18-year-olds, you're saying?
Yeah,
Gosh.
yeah, because every comedian, there's 4 comedians, every comedian
Asked
honed
them
in
about
on
it,
them.
yeah.
So you learnt a lot about them, and I remember that because Ray Lee was last, and I was like, they're not gonna know what hit him for this, and he got so philosophical, but philosophical in the sense that when someone studies philosophy,
Sure.
not just existential.
Yeah.
He went into Socrates
and,
and logic, and it was so fucking funny, dude. He's great.
He's really good. He's really funny. His
really good.
is it the Melbourne Comedy Fest at the moment? Is that why you're seeing things, or is it just a random Friday night?
Yeah, no, I just saw it on his Instagram.
Yeah,
And,
right. Well,
went with a couple of Kiwis. myself.
he's done a bit a few times. I think there was one at the comedy festival, the Melbourne Comedy Festival, where he talks about his representation as an autistic person on in the comedy field.
The misdirect, who's I've never had. I've not.
Which was really on one side
he did that.
really gratifying and lovely to know that people see representation on screen, but on the other side, I've never been diagnosed with autism.
That dude, I was on the floor. I was on the floor. Honestly,
he's really funny. Well, that's cool. It feels like a lot of New Zealand comedians are over in Melbourne these days. They seem to get more TV gigs and things over there. I see them on not 7 days. What's have you been paying attention? That kind of thing. They seem to find more of a circuit over there than there is opportunities here.
it's a very interesting kind of phenomenon that New Zealand's unique brand of comedy that's emerged is just a really interesting kind of thing to me. Because I could probably name more good New Zealand comics, comedic actors, whatever, than I could Australian actors.
Interesting.
And what do you think that is? What are they putting in the sheep's butts over there?
So you're an exemplar of Australian comedy, I take it. I don't know specifically what the reason is. Maybe just like there's like an
'Cause it is
insularity
unique.
and
Yeah.
like a sense of community that
But
encourages
it's
people to poke fun at each other. Like there's a self-deprecating nature, which I think people in America who want to be comedians want to get up on stage because in some respect there is an ego or a narcissism thing of like, listen to me, I have stuff to say. And I feel like the attitude of Australian or New Zealand comics is a little bit more like, hey, isn't this weird? And apologies for taking up your time. Like, I'll just do a couple of quick jokes and then I'll get out of your hair. Like it feels like it's motivated from a slightly different place, but I don't know. Maybe that's a generality.
But I wouldn't clump Australian comedians and New Zealanders together. Like, I think a guy like Aaron Chang, right? He's got, to me, sorry, Chen. He's got a kind of a New Zealand style to me, which is kind of, it's deadpan, it's subtle, it's extremely dry, but I wouldn't say that's the same for all Australian comics.
That's true. Yeah, dryness is definitely like a flavour of New Zealand specifically. Yeah. Whereas
and I think it's the Flight of the Conchords and the Reese Darbies and
it's the undersell,
Yeah. Which is the funniest thing. Which is why the UK office is so funny.
And Aaron Chen is you're right. He feels like he has that New Zealand delivery, but also it's funny you say that because his show with on the ABC at the moment with Guy Montgomery's Guy Mont Spelling Bee, which is very funny. Guy Montgomery, being a Kiwi, has picked as his sidekick probably the most Kiwi-esque Australian comic. And the way that those two play off each other feels extremely like in my specific comedic tastes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've watched much of that show, but he'll do a recurring bit every week where he's like, do you want to hear a riddle? And the riddle is the most obvious, specifically... I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's like doing a riddle where everyone immediately knows the answer, and he does it every single time.
Dude, I love those jokes.
Yeah,
I do a great bit. I do a great bit where I'll say something really obvious, and then I'll say if you know what I mean. I'm going to go to the shops later, if you know what I mean. And I love doing it with like people who don't find things funny, like Lauren. And she'll be like, yeah, I know what you mean. And she takes it seriously. And that's the funniest thing in the world to me. When I've made someone think I'm just a fucking idiot.
Yeah. I mean, that's the jokes just for your own sake style, which I am
exactly
with.
Yeah.
I just might close my door because I think Casey's going to be home in a second. Beautiful baby.
Thank you.
Casey's on the couch. That's a callback.
Yep.
Callback is when you refer to a joke you made earlier. It's like surprising and fun to be
gotcha.
Brought up a second time. So I have a bit of a discussion point this week. I don't know how much we'll get from it, but I saw the news headline about the Australian introduction of some age verification laws. So have you seen anything about this? I don't know how much news coverage it seems to have got over there, but there is like a technology push here from the government in Australia to require age verification for viewing pornography, and also age verification for using search engines. Have you seen any of this discussed?
Funnily enough, I have in my notes here that I've had for a while. There's in France they've banned porn for people under the age of 18.
Yeah, and this is also tied up in discussion that's been had in the UK at the moment around digital IDs. There's talk of introducing digital IDs in Australia. So I just thought we'd just take a little bit of a second here to look at the idea of access to things on the internet and age verification and stuff, and what should or shouldn't be available to people, and how much the government should intrude and all that. So maybe I'll start here with an article from a couple of weeks ago from news.com.au entitled "New Internet Rules to Block Children from, quote, lawful but awful content." So, porn websites will be required to check users are over 18 under new rules being introduced to Australia in the coming months. New rules were revealed as part of a suite of new codes covering pornography, violent, and self-harm from the E-Safety Commissioner. Not a good sentence. The changes, which will be in place from March 2026, are aimed at reducing children's exposure to explicit sexual content, self-harm material, and extreme violence online. Porn providers will be required to introduce, quote, appropriate age assurance measures such as ID checks, credit card verification, or biometric age estimation, or they'll risk civil penalties running into the millions of dollars. They must also take appropriate steps to test and monitor the effectiveness of age assurance and access control measures over time. Similar rules will apply to app stores, which must ensure 18 plus content is appropriately restricted, and to AI platforms amid growing concerns about unregulated chatbots engaging children in sexual or harmful conversations. These reforms bring Australia into line with overseas jurisdictions such as the UK, parts of Europe and the US where pornography sites and high-risk platforms already use age assurance to limit underage access. But overseas experience has also shown the measures are not foolproof, with some users bypassing checks using VPNs or other tricks. So, as a headline issue here, Michael, what do you feel about the access that kids currently have to this kind of material online, and B, the idea of the government requiring these sites to verify your age if you come to use them? So are you happy to upload your driver's license to look at Pornhub, Michael?
Wait, so I have to do it as well?
Everyone has to have their age verified to look at porn from early next year.
It's probably in what you said, but how do you do it?
So there are a few different ways to do it. So the other thing, so this is a connected issue. Same law is introducing these age checks for search engines, including Google. So you'll soon be subjected to a mandatory age check on the internet when you try and search things. This is, the same thing behind the teen social media ban. All of this, they're now going to be required to check the ages of logged in users. The way that they're going to do it is either photo ID check, so uploading your driver's license, face scanning age estimation tools, credit card checks, the use of a digital ID, so government issued digital ID, vouching by the parent of a young person, using AI to guess a user's age based on data the company already has, or relying on a third party that's already checked the user's age. So there's a bunch of different mechanisms. It'll depend on the provider, like the website, which avenue they choose to use, with the knowledge that there are fees of, I think, up to $50 million for a breach. So they have a lot of incentive to make this quite rigorous. Otherwise, they risk getting very expensive fines.
Would you have a centralized thing that allows you, once you've done it, it kind of goes into your browser, and then you can go to Pornhub, you can go to Liquorland, and you can go to everywhere once you've done it once, or do you have to do it all the time?
That is an interesting question, and it is one that doesn't have an answer currently. This is connected a little bit to the digital ID thing. So the idea that the government will issue you a secure identification like your driver's license. So theoretically, if you signed up for a digital ID and then you went to Google, or you went to a porn website, or you went to Liquorland, you could sign in with that digital ID, and that would be enough to verify. The what do you call them? Like the privacy groups and the interested parties, the Electronic Freedom Association, that kind of stuff, they all strongly, they have a lot of concerns about the introduction of a digital ID, because it's basically one big honeypot for anyone to try and hack and steal a lot of sensitive data from people.
Yeah.
So having a centralized server where it's like the government has all your information. I mean, we've seen Optus, we've seen Medibank, we've seen all of these breaches where people just find ways in, and then steal everyone's data. So there's a lot of real concerns that, a centralized place is actually not a good idea.
Yeah. Lauren's actually working on a security app for this very thing.
Oh, right
now for Combank, and she got me to download the app so she could test it out and stuff. So many breaches. Oh my! Not going to surprise you, Nick. My shit is all plastered all over the dark web.
Yeah,
plastered.
So you put your information into the equivalent of like a haveibeenpwned.com, which shows where your information has been leaked in data breaches and stuff.
It's linked through Commonwealth Bank, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, but they're checking your information against online data breach stuff, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You know what really fucked me? Dimmix bookshop. Dimmix had a big data breach, and that's the root cause of all of my secrets out there.
Gosh. It's always the bookshops you least expect.
That's why I don't read anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a common email these days to get like, oops, our bad, we accidentally let all of your credit card details onto the internet.
Don't you love an oops in a subject line?
Yeah. But Optus we're getting off on tangents here, but Optus just today had another triple O outage. Like they're fucking, they released everyone's data a year ago and just our bad at it, sorry, we accidentally let everyone have your details. Then last month, South Australia, they had a triple O outage. People died because they couldn't call the fucking triple O hotline. And then it happened again today. Like, what the fuck?
Dude, Optus is an absolute mess.
Yeah.
And guess who I'm with?
Yeah, same.
Dimmix.
Oh, you with Dimmix? Their 5G
Dimmix
coverage is crazy.
Telecom, yeah. Great reception.
Yeah. So yeah, to go back to your question, theoretically, maybe there is like a digital ID that you can use to sign in with, but it's not going to be the case that you can just like log in once in your browser and then every website knows how old you are. So it is definitely going to have to be a thing where you have to start signing into shit everywhere you go. And, to use Google, you're going to have to upload your driver's license or, put your credit card in so they can check that you're of age, like this kind of shit.
I might stop using the internet.
Okay.
It just sounds exhausting listening to that.
Yeah.
Like something like that, if that actually happened, I think it would really be a roadblock for me because, as you know, I don't want to change anything. I don't want to change my passwords. I don't want to tell like the admin of telling the computer things about myself all the time. It's just like, you know what? I'll just not jerk off ever again.
Yeah, I mean your email password and your Facebook password and your Instagram password were all the same, which is what kind of stitched you up when you lost access to the Instagram stuff, right?
Yeah. And if you check your episode notes, it'll be in there, guys.
Yeah. The password will be in the episode notes.
Which you already know what it is, though, don't you?
Yeah, Hunter too. The fact that I think since then you have said that you have not changed all of your passwords anyway, and that there's still a bunch that are reused everywhere, suggests that perhaps your enthusiasm for doing basic computer maintenance is not going to be high enough to beat this inconvenience threshold of having to log into everything.
Look, I'm a digitally very irresponsible man.
Yeah.
I'm even telling that on a podcast that goes out in the internet. I'm saying that I'm broadcasting that I don't change my passwords and publishing it. That's how irresponsible I am, digitally speaking.
Yeah. Taking a step out of our like personal inconvenience from this, what do you think at a policy level or a an ethical level about the protections that we are responsible for for kids, what they should be able to access. I mean, we know the harms that have come from the internet, the ways that it has had both positive but also negative implications. I think we've all grew up in an era where we saw stuff online that we shouldn't have or that we didn't want to see. And certainly there is a lot more out there and a lot more avenues to see it these days for kids. Do you think, regardless of the inconvenience level of it, there is something morally justified about this approach? The social media ban is another side of it, right? How much interference do you think we as a government should be, having on the day-to-day lives of the kids and what they can access?
If we're talking about the kids, I find myself thinking very conservative. Not politically, but like just do whatever we can to put roadblocks in the way of it for kids. I really think social media especially is the worst and most terrifying thing for future kids. I really think I would be really strict with that. I don't have kids now, but I think about having a kid and being kind of worked up with some sort of panic that they are going to want to go on Instagram or social media. I really think it's really bad. So I think any rules on this, any laws, is a good thing. I don't know if I'm particularly well thought out in that, but because it's reactionary in a sense. But I think it's good.
So if that's the case, and we are thinking, okay, we know there's stuff out there that we need to protect kids from, the question then becomes the technological feasibility. Because as they say in this article, you can get a VPN and you can, set your location to, pick a country, Germany
Uganda,
or whatever, and log straight into Facebook without any, verification ID. Germany might not be the best example of that, but pick a location where there isn't these kind of laws, and then you just log in or you search or whatever. Uganda. And similarly, when it comes to photo, like like biometric identification, this stuff is extremely flaky. So people have been able to pass these checks by holding up a printed out photo of like a older person in front of the camera, and they scan it and they're like, oh yeah, that's an old person. Or you get your older brother to come in and sign in, and then you're free to go. Like there are so many pathways around it.
I unlocked my phone yesterday with a photo of Mark Maron.
Which you do keep in your wallet at all times, just in case you forget your password.
Something you refer to.
Yeah.
Double callback, dude.
Callback to a callback. It becomes a technological problem where even if we agree that there is something that should be done, I think practically we end up in a place where there doesn't seem to be an easy answer, either in terms of complete, 99% effectiveness. Like there will never be something perfect, but it doesn't seem like we're even hitting like a reasonable threshold there, or a level that doesn't inconvenience everyone else trying to use the internet. Like how how fucking annoying is it when you visit a website like the BBC or whatever, or a European-based website, and it's got that banner that comes up and says, do you want us to have cookies? Can you click accept or reject before you get into it? And just fucking stop getting in the way of the shit that I want to do.
Yeah, obviously going to accept a cookie.
Marshmallow.
Yeah, I mean, don't you think that there's the train has kind of left us like that's the other, these bans, and even with the social media ban that Australia's going for, it's like how I think it's a good thing in theory, but like it's not like how is this really going to work? I just don't see it working, and I just feel like it's a lost cause in a sense.
Yeah, I think that unfortunately it's sort of an example of like peer pressure or crowd, like groupthink in a way, because you can be the super responsible parent and you can say to your kid like all of the risks and the harms and the dangers of being on Instagram, and the weirdos that could message you, or the false imagery that you're seeing, or the bad body ideals that you're being presented with, and all this kind of stuff. But if you are the only person in the class that doesn't have an Instagram, I mean, they're never going to.
Impossible.
Yeah, you're going to have to sign up.
That.
Yeah,
you can't explain. You can't explain that to a teenager.
No,
and that's not their fault.
No.
Because social media is crack for kids, and it's been designed that way.
Yeah,
it's like it's complete. It's been designed.
It's engagement.
Purposefully to compare yourself to your peers at a time when that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
When
you're most concerned with fitting in, when you're most concerned with how you look, where your body is, just pure hormones like running rampant through your system. Like, you are the absolute peak target for like online self-criticism.
You are. It's throwing raw meat into a piranha fish tank.
Yeah.
And it's, I've said this before. Like, I'm so glad that we got out at a remarkable time.
Yeah.
I got Facebook the year after I graduated high school.
Yeah.
Unbelievable timing.
Great timing.
Unbelievable timing,
Yeah.
And I am really terrified for... I don't know where social media is heading.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's going to be the same kind of meta-led thing, but I'm sure it'll be something else.
Yeah.
That'll be even worse, but it's not. I think it's really toxic and poisonous.
The other risk that we talked about here, I'm just going to quote a little bit from the EFA, which is the Electronic Frontiers Australia organisation, which does a lot of sort of industry consult and lobbying about this stuff. My puppy is having a dream and her tail is wagging in her sleep. She's having a nice little run. So the EFA chair, John Payne, says that one of the other concerns we have is that there's no evidence to the efficacy of age assurance technical controls. Based on the technology trials, some of these results have been pretty disheartening, and warned that the new rules for search engines could be circumvented using VPNs. Quote, if the ambition of the government is to prevent children from accessing pornography, they're forgetting straight away the skills of the young people. Which I think is the most accurate thing. The kids know better than anyone how to get around this shit.
I wanted to say something like this before. Think about how, I mean, maybe it's a hard thing to compare, but because the internet kind of arose when we were arising.
Yeah.
And so we could stay one step ahead
Yeah.
of my parents, our parents. And
yeah, your brains were at a level
thinking about
where
that.
you were learning new things and excited, and yeah.
Right. So, but technology is moving, and the internet is moving exponentially. So it could be true that because we had the exposure, we can kind of maybe keep up with it a bit more. But also, kids do spend if they're spending their whole time on there, they're gonna find ways, and they're gonna be one step ahead of you.
Yeah. And the other thing here is that these new search engine rules and things will still allow users to access adult content just by not logging in. So logged out users experience a default safety setting, which at a minimum blurs out images in the search results, but will likely allow them to avoid the most stringent filters. So it won't stop the teenager who wants to access pornography from accessing it, and it won't stop the sharing of it. So it really is more performative than it is effective.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be a very interesting next 6 months. This feels a little bit like it's sort of under the radar a little bit. And I think when we hit December and we start to see this stuff coming in and we start to have a bigger picture about the day-to-day inconvenience of it, I think people are going to be surprised by it. What's this new? Why can't I just fucking search on Google anymore without having to upload my face to it? That's quite a reasonable concern to have.
Yeah, it's also coming at a time where people are kind of on a global scale becoming very distrustful of that sort of thing. and I think there is more of a skepticism about it generally.
I mean, the creepy thing here, so one of the ways that they can do age verification is data inference. I've been on this bandwagon a little while, in pod terms about the kind of data that these companies know about us already. And historically, you have been relatively uninterested in that, or, happy to give it away. Yeah. But one of the most interesting ways in which they can do the age inference is by looking in their massive data trove of all the things they know about you, from what you're browsing, from your search history, from your IP address, like all these kind of things. And Google can potentially just infer your age as over 18 just by the data they already know about you, because everything's connected to your account. You've got your email there, you've got your bookmarks, you've got your purchase history, all your receipts in your thing. They can look at that and basically conclude, yeah, this guy's already old enough, which is kind of creepy. I don't know.
It's not only Google, it's ChatGPT, dude.
Oh, it's everything.
I was surprised. Like, I asked ChatGPT something the other day. Like, I've got a conversation coming up with my friend Nick. What are some good conversation starters, for example? And it was like, oh yes, for your podcast Deep Thought.
Yeah.
And it just remembered something from ages ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, I've been telling you so many secrets, dude.
Yeah. And what did it say about good conversation topics? Was it weather?
Led with weather.
Yeah.
It was mostly weather based. It gave me a top 5.
I mean, I love a weather chat. I'm not going to lie.
I was going to save it to the end. But...
Okay. I just looked out the window because it started raining and I almost mentioned it, but I didn't.
There we go. Weather chat over.
We need a jingle. One more thing about this. So the digital ID is like this other layer to it. It's starting to be rolled out in Australia. In fact, it may have slightly been rolled out. It's not compulsory yet. But in the UK at the moment, I don't know if you've seen anything about this. The UK has just started to discuss a digital ID specifically for managing illegal immigration. Did you hear anything about this?
No, X has been silent on this.
Okay, interesting. You're not in the right X spaces, apparently. So the UK is introducing a digital ID card. This is Keir Starmer, theoretically a left-leaning politician, but I think it shows how far the alt-right has sort of dragged the center of politics, that the left party is the one introducing this. But anyway, there's a lot of talk about like civil liberty sides of things and debate about it. But basically, it's a digital identification that will be used for accessing public services. And the main area of debate about this is it's going to be mandatory for anyone who wants to work in the UK. So anyone who wants to work or rent a home in the UK needs a digital ID, replacing the current practice of, documentation from your bank or your driver's license or insurance or your gas bill, that kind of stuff. So you have one centralized ID. There's an expectation that will then affect illegal immigration by deterring people who don't have the right to be in the UK from trying to get jobs and that kind of thing. But also employers and landlords would need to check ID cards to confirm the identity of applicants. So this is a big sort of political debate thing. It's fairly early days. The, quote, shadow economy of the UK, the number of people who are there illegally but doing work, legal work, is estimated to be nearly 11% of the GDP of the UK. So it's quite a significant part of this economy, and yet it's based on basically, illegal immigration. So there's a lot of concerns about where this goes into the future. The idea that it's like this mandatory thing, the idea that it's universal, that, this might be the first step towards, further levels of crackdown on, where you're allowed to be, where you're allowed to go, what services you're allowed to access, I should say. Do you have any concerns about like the digitization of government surveillance like that, or do you feel like it's sort of an inevitable future?
it's very easy to imagine kind of a dystopian, Orwellian kind of worldview when this sort of stuff happens.
Yeah.
And it's hard to work out, I think, what's in the best interest of humanity and what's you're spiraling into fiction that you've read in the past.
Yeah.
As a kind of a canary in the coal mine from the 80s, whatever.
Yeah.
So I find that a little bit confusing. Like, and I understand both. I understand both because it's wasn't fascism or Hitler, the Nazism was kind of pitched as a maybe not left-leaning thing, but it's in your best interests. It's like, this is for the greater good. I'm not comparing this to Nazism at all, but I'm saying just in terms of the confusion of it all, I find it very exhausting and confusing to know if something feels correct at the time, that it might not be in the future. That's what I really wrestle with in my head. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't know what's good.
I mean, it's tricky because you're right. Like, the efficiencies of it, the idea of, like, let's say I need to go get a driver's license, and what I need to bring with me is a utilities bill and like a lease agreement. The idea that you had to prove your identity by bringing documentation from other places, but all of those places require the proof of identification to, get you the credit card or whatever. Like, I remember when I moved to New Zealand, I had a sort of an interesting first step issue where I didn't have an address yet, I didn't have a bank account yet, and I didn't have a phone number yet. And I needed all three of those things, but all three of those things needed the other two things. So I couldn't get a bank account because I didn't have a phone number. I couldn't get a phone number because I didn't have an address and a bank account. And I couldn't get a house because I didn't have a bank. They all hung off each other. So I was in this like paperwork morass where I was like, how do can one of you give me the thing? And I think in the end, I put my work address down for my phone account or something like that. And that got me a phone number, which was enough to get me the bank account, which was enough to get me the accommodation or something like that. But the efficiencies of, okay, well, there's one piece of ID that I need to get and I prove it once and then I can use that for everything. That is appealing. That does sound like it speeds up a lot of the, bureaucratic processes that everyone complains about. But then on the other side, as you say, like, well, what happens if, okay, you need to show your ID in order to have this job. What happens if it's, it starts to be more pervasive? You need to show your ID to go and buy things at a restaurant. Where's the slippery slope start and where is it just, alarmism? It's tricky to know which part of it is reasonable and which part is not.
Yeah. First things first. Paperwork Morass is a great band name.
Yeah, thank you.
I wonder if in the future it would be something like, when you get born at a hospital, when you get born
at a hospital. Yeah.
You guys ever been born? Anyone here been born?
You got a show coming up at the Riyadh Comedy Festival, don't
you? I wonder if they just take your DNA or something like that and they put it into a database or a system.
Yeah.
And then that can get you that can do all the things.
Yeah.
But anything centralized is going to be icky. I mean, do you remember, have you seen any of those videos of like news clips from the 80s when they were going to introduce breath testing for alcohol? And people are like, oh, it's fucking disgusting. It's an invasion. It's like, So what if I want to have a couple of beers afterwards? It's pretty funny just watching people from the 80s like
react to it.
Say that it's an overreach of government to breath test drivers.
Interesting.
It's just very hard to know what's going on. Like what's good, I don't know. I just want to live on an island. I want to be Tom Hanks and
and
do dentistry on myself and talk to a volleyball coconut.
Yeah. Well, I guess we will have more to say on this as it starts to roll out in Australia because, currently this is just happening without much in the way of debate. Like the law is there and it's going to kick in. And I think, as I said, the moment that it starts to roll out in these places, there's going to be a lot of discussion about it. the other thing in terms of watching the UK side of it. So I think Australia actually does have a digital ID system or has started to roll one out, but it's not mandatory and it's not everywhere. But you can see a world in which it starts to become the UK side of things starts to be a forerunner for the same kind of rollouts elsewhere.
The guinea pig, yeah.
The guinea pig.
Yeah.
And, you know, in Australia, you already have like digitized healthcare records and these kind of things. And pretty soon the government's going to have quite a large amount of data about all of us. And I think it's a question of how much of that is efficiency and how much of that is an invasion of privacy.
Yeah. I've always heard people say things like the news is getting me down, or climate change is just really getting me down. I'm really feeling, you know, these existential things that are happening in the world, and I never really quite got it. And I think I'm really starting to understand
To feel
that
it a bit
kind
more.
of that world burned it, and you know, it's with AI, and we've talked about that, and all of this stuff is I strongly suspect it's having an effect on me now. And I've started one by one deleting my social media apps on my phone, not deactivating my accounts, but I've deleted Instagram and Facebook, and I kind of want to. I'm starting to ask people that I want to text for their phone numbers, so I don't have to message. I want to delete Messenger.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to like downsize because
Claw it back a bit.
I really am. And I'm starting to wonder, it's probably an issue that I'm causing for myself because I love news and I love to bathe in it. But I am really starting to seriously wonder if I am hurting myself by being so obsessed or just being aware of anything. It's like, maybe I shouldn't be aware of anything. I don't know. What do I need to be aware about? Probably nothing. There was a cyclist killed across from my house the other day. I shouldn't need to know about that. But do I need to know that, you know, Trump pointed his finger at Melania on a private jet? Like, I don't need to know. I don't think I need to know. And I think it's unhealthy.
Yeah, I mean, it is the phrase that people use of doom scrolling, right? Like the idea that your phone is addictive and it keeps throwing up news and throwing up things to worry about or to care about. And there is a sense potentially that it is important to be across all of that stuff. And there is at the same time a line where we only have so much energy or time in a day or attention span or ability to change things. And I think you're right. Like, do we need to know every move of Trump? You know, if there's big things that are happening, it can feel like we need to be paying attention to it all. And Trump is certainly a perennial big thing. But in the terms of the day-to-day experience of being an Australian or a Kiwi, it probably doesn't matter to that extent that we need to pollute our bloodstream with it. But
Totally.
there's also the flip side, which is that I think if you're living in ignorance to the world around you, or you're not paying attention to the big picture, then you risk losing context or living in a bubble, and you know that's not a good thing either. So, yeah. It's I mean, pulling back from social media is probably healthy, but you still need to. I think you still have a civic duty to be informed in some fashion. You just have to find an avenue. You know, maybe it's just the paper, the newspaper, your journalism, which is now online. You know, maybe you look for like the next day, effectively, of like, okay, what's the headlines, rather than 3 minutes ago Trump, you know, said crazy thing X, and here's 6 videos, and here's 2 hot takes, and here's, you know, blah blah blah. Like the moment to moment versus the considered next day reporting. You know.
Totally. I think I don't know if you have this where you are, but there's the local paper that just exists is the Kensington. Oh, I've said. Oh, it doesn't matter. The Kensington. I don't know, Digest or whatever. Right?
Yeah,
it's just a
Gazette.
local paper.
Yeah.
It's all volunteers, and it's just for free, right? And it's stapled.
Is it like in your letterbox, or it's like
it's in our letterbox? It's also in it's in the local grocery store. I'm starting to read it more. I'm like, this is like there's nothing, no hard hitting news whatsoever.
Kensington news,
but it's just like. It could be something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm finding like just subconsciously just like reading it a lot more, and I wonder if that's kind of like part of it. I'm like maybe just like the proximity of whatever this is, like, front page news. Susan's having a garage sale on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean there is something to be said for the hyper local, right? For
totally,
we know that as a community, people are less in touch with their neighbors these days. They don't go to churches anymore. There is an argument to be made that the antidote for global doom scrolling stress is there's a bake sale down the road on the weekend.
Yes.
Go check it out.
Like, no, I think exactly. I think there's a strong argument for that, because you're also, and I think this might be what I'm feeling in terms of this existential burden from all this. This is at friction with our evolution, because we didn't evolve to know what's happening. We didn't even know what another country was. What's another country? What's beyond the sea? And now, like, what? And it's just like, I think it's causing me like anxiety or something, like just knowing about anything. The
existence of other countries. Yeah.
The existence of anyone else other than me and Susan, who is having a garage sale on Sunday.
Yeah. I wouldn't have gone so far as you just did to say that everything that Eddie has written has contributed to the downfall of humanity. But if you're wanting to stick yourself out there and make a claim like that, then that's on you.
Yeah, this will be a real test to see how much Eddie actually listens versus how much he tells me he listens. We're waiting for your text, Eddie.
Yeah, it was a good chat. I liked talking through this with you. Thank you for indulging me.
The one that we just had.
Yeah, the one that we just not. Sometimes when I bring up techie talk, it doesn't always lead to these kind of chats. So I'm grateful that we got there.
Oh, you're lucky you stumbled into a real
one
anxiety point for me.
Yeah,
that's the key, Nick. If you want to get me interested, you got to keep me anxious.
Okay. If you've enjoyed this chat, thank you so much for partaking in it. We hope it didn't spike the anxiety too much, but if you do need to calm down, then go back and listen to one of our more boring episodes. There's plenty in the back feed there, so go have a listen. And if you want to reach out with your comments or your questions, you can do so by emailing us at deepfort@gmail.com. You can reach out to us on Instagram via the messages or Facebook, though it sounds like Michael might not be checking them anymore. You can leave a comment on our Spotify if you have any immediate thoughts, and you can rate us 5 stars there or on Apple Podcasts, because that really helps us shoot up those ratings. And
boost.
You can go down to the bake sale on a Saturday morning and engage with the community in your immediate vicinity.
How do you want to close this bitch out, dude?
I feel like I've talked a bit, so if you had some seggies or something you want to drive, I'm down for it.
I'll give you a pick. How about that? I got a weird news. I got a couple of meatballs. I got meatballs and weird.
Okay, let's do some meatballs.
Okay.
Set me up.
I thought I just did. I got a couple of meatballs, and they're spicy as fuck.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah, I mean, you could say it a little bit closer to the mic.
I got one kind of medium. Oh, you wanted me to say it closer to the mic?
Yeah, I want you to give me like a little bit of say it with your full chest.
I got a couple of meatballs.
Okay,
they're spicy.
No, that made me uncomfortable.
ASMR, dude. Spicy meatball time.
God.
That's a spicy meatball.
Okay, I don't know how I'm going to cut that into an intro, but something will happen.
You'll work it out. Okay. All right. I got a 1 level spice.
Okay.
And I got a 4-level spice one.
Wow.
I'm gonna
Sorry.
start with the.
Can you just walk me through what the grades are? Because I didn't realize there was like a tier level of the spice here. So just
No,
tell me.
on the Scoville scale
Oh,
of
that's
spicy meat.
very mild.
It's
one Scoville.
Isn't it crazy? The Scoville scale is like 5,000 is like nothing. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know,
We talked
it's
about
like,
Scoville
no.
scale, right? You know how that works, right?
Rory Scoville.
Rory Scoville takes a bite of it and decides how hot it is.
And he's like 11,000.
This is 10 million. To be honest,
No one's gonna get that. No one's gonna get
to be honest, everyone knows who Rory Scoville is. Everyone, that's not even too far removed from the actual accuracy of the Scoville scale. So the Scoville is, they basically dissolve a little bit of it into water, and then they get people to taste it. And if they can still taste it, they dissolve it a little bit more. And then if they can still taste it, they dissolve it a little bit more. And they keep diluting till no one can taste the spice anymore. And that level of dilution is that level of scale. And it is literally just like 3 dudes in a room, just like having a sip of some like chili water. It's not scientific at all. And that's why they have attempted to find like a new... what do you call it? Like a scale for measuring temperature. But because it's basically just a couple of random dudes being like, I don't taste that.
Dude, why would you change that? That's sick. Just like three guys drinking IPAs and
Yeah, just having a fun time.
just vibing out spicy levels. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Anyway.
All right. Small spicy first.
Okay.
First of all, apologies to the butterfly community.
Okay. Trigger warning.
First spicy meatball. Butterflies are just colorful moths.
Okay. That's level 1 spicy.
Look, I like a butterfly, but I also have compassion for my moths, right? They get a bad rap, and I don't think it's warranted because butterflies get this kind of like clean appeal and like, they're pretty. People say pretty. There's a butterfly house at every fucking zoo.
Yeah.
I don't see a moth house.
Yeah.
There's a moth house in my attic right now. But moths are associated with death and old and dusty and staleness. And I just think it's a PR disaster from Big Moth. And I think moths should get more credit.
I think you've
Or
phrased...
butterflies should get less credit.
Yeah, I think you phrased that the wrong way. I think it's like a PR conspiracy by Big Butterfly is the answer.
Big butterfly. You're right. Correct. Yeah.
I have a level 2 spicy meatball. I think they both suck. I don't care about any of them. They every aspect of the entire life cycle of these creatures creeps me the fuck out, to be honest. I don't like them as caterpillars. All their legs, I don't like the way they walk. I don't want them on me. No, thank you.
Yep.
Then they go into a fucking cocoon and they sit there and just jiggle around for a bit, somehow losing all of their constituent parts and then emerging alive again from juice.
Yeah.
What the fuck? And then at the other time,
Chrysalis.
you've got this like sort of unhinged flapping thing that doesn't seem to know which way's up and which direction it's going, and they're always in your face again. So my spicy meatball is get rid of the whole lot of them.
Very similar to mine. I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
But I hate a flap in nature. Don't you hate a flap?
Yeah.
Anything that flaps, get out of my.
I don't mind a bird. I guess if we're talking wings generally.
I hate birds. I hate poultry.
I forgot that you hate birds. Yeah.
I really hate birds.
Yeah. Well, you were attacked by a bird as a child.
You're like just walking outside, there's a pigeon there, and you're like, okay, not a threat. And then it just helicopters up vertically. You're like, what the fuck? It's like, no, don't stop it.
Stay on the ground like everything else.
Or go diagonally.
Sorry,
have a runway.
Your main concern is the verticality of the takeoff. You'd be okay if they
don't
went.
Expect nature to arise. Like
This has been the most
upwards
aroused podcast we've had. You have dropped that word like 6 times already.
What's that?
Arise. There's a rising. You've said that like 4 times.
I?
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Anyway.
Is it Easter?
Yeah.
No. All right. All right. Thanks for backing me up on the moth thing.
Totally.
Yeah. All right. More of a hard spice here. All right.
Okay.
So this is very gendered.
Okay, and just to remind people, your most recent spicy meatball, though not formally declared so, was that Pedro Pascal was bad. And I don't think we've got a grading on that, but just to prepare people, are we above that or below that in terms of the spice scale here?
Unfortunately, we're below that.
Okay.
And I think people are going to agree with me on this one.
Okay, well, that's probably better for you in the long run.
Because evening it out. All right. I think men should not post on social media more than twice a year. You get two photos, and it can be a carousel. I'll give you that.
Okay.
But you get twice a year, otherwise it's gay. Okay?
Okay.
You post more than that. Now, I'm not including stories on this specifically.
Oh, come on. Okay.
I don't want to go too crazy. I don't want to go to
Yeah, you definitely don't want to go
900
crazy.
billion on the Scoville. But I think men, if you're a man, twice a year.
Okay.
Okay. Don't do more than that. It's not a good
Asterisk,
look.
unless you're gay, at which point you can post as much as you want.
No, I don't mean gay. Oh, well, I don't know
You
what's
did
going on.
explicitly say it.
No, I didn't mean gay in like a gay way. I meant gay in like a,
Like as a slur.
it's a slur. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
you're
yeah.
correct. yeah. The true.
Yeah. Not like as a descriptor of someone, just as like a mean thing to say about them. Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
You get it.
So
Yeah.
this is what's most impressive about this one is all the subsidiary clauses. So men cannot post more than twice a year. Asterisk 1, that doesn't include stories. At which point I think that multiple posts of stories is actually much more worrying than multiple posts, because I don't want to be, scrolling through whatever you're in and you see someone who's posted like 25 times today. Sorry, that's the real problem.
That's pathetic.
And then second, the main reason not to do this is because it's gay brackets as a slur.
Not in a gay way. Yeah.
Okay, I mean this.
And I think everyone's going to agree with this.
Okay. And third, by the way, what does gender have to... Why is it only men that this applies to?
Because women just be Instagram
Women
and
be
dog.
posted.
Women need to do this. Women need to do this.
I think you've undersold this. I think this take is way hotter than Pedro Pascal is not someone I like. I think you've really... I think the more that we've talked about it, the clearer it's become that this is up there on the scale. Rory's spitting this one out and going, this one's a little more than I expected. It's grower.
Become part of his act. Dude. Everyone knows bitches be posting, okay? And you can't stop that, and that's fine because you see a lady post, and it's like, okay,
and you're like, okay, this is fine. I like this.
But you see a man post, and you're like, dude, what's going on?
Calm down. You posted in August, and you're back here again.
Everything okay, my bro? You posted about your hike twice.
Yeah, it's Are You
Come
Okay
on.
Day.
Everything okay with the missus, my bro?
If you were in a happy relationship, you wouldn't be twice posting in a year.
That is kind of the point, though, Nick, because it is a signal.
Okay.
When someone posts on Instagram, it's like they want you to know I'm doing this thing.
Okay.
I read into it a lot.
Okay,
I can tell.
I can tell that you've read into things. Yeah.
But it is interesting. People go, they want you to know I'm at a thing or I've done a thing. They're saying, I want people to know about this. So I think that's fine for ladies. But for men, men should not want other men to know what they're doing. There is a chance I might have some repressed...
My
toxic opinions
Yeah.
from my childhood
Yeah.
about masculinity.
Yeah. This is just coming
I'll
out
leave
as
that door
self-loathing.
slightly ajar.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.